Welcome everybody, engaged and enraged. I'm Dan.
JC.
I'm gonna switch it up. I'm just gonna use my real name. I feel like that's a little more authentic. Eh?
Eh?
Um, so today we had RFK Jr.'s hearing, and it was chaotic. It was crazy. This guy's wild, man. Um,
It
what'd
was
you
about
think?
as it was about as disjointed as his voice, bro. Ah, like I
Not
don't want
the,
to make too much but it was really hard to listen to,
yeah, I'm not.
because it was. I don't know. Honestly, what you said to me earlier, and I won't mention it, but that sounded the most accurate. That he was choking on a certain something. But
Well, we know. Yeah. Anyway,
anyway,
beside his, just having to suffer through his voice. I mean, it's clear that the guy's batshit crazy. I mean,
the substance was really insubstantial. You know what I mean? Like, he has some vague notions about how the health, the HHS works, but then like some things he's not clear, and like I'm willing to forgive someone for like not knowing 100% of it. That's okay, but some of the things he was saying are just like complete lunacy, like the stuff about the vaccines, specifically that certain certain chemicals are were inducing frogs to
mm, turn to
spontaneously change sex. Like, it's like, excuse me, Mr. Kennedy, with all due respect, sir, do you realize that frogs and humans are not the same, and that frogs actually, in their DNA and in their makeup, like, that's common for them, because if there's not enough males around, or vice versa, females around, yes, some of the population will
change.
spontaneously change sex, and then guess what? That helps them continue the species, man. Like, it's
But
a
wait a minute, were they
adaptation,
all them frogs got stuffed in a jar full of some chemical?
and it turned them gay. I mean, like, is this
Fuck
Alex
off,
Jones,
man.
dude? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, dude, the but he said that there's chemicals that is in the food, or pharmaceutical. I don't know. He was vague about it, but he said that there was chemicals being used on humans that was making young men turn trans. Like, would want to. Uh, what was he saying? Causing body just dysmorphia, and it's like, brother.
Yeah, I mean it's just like
It's batshit
conspiracy,
crazy.
conspiracy, conspiracy, conspiracy. I did think it was interesting when he was talking about just regulating food, or he says that he's not going to regulate food or what people can eat and all that, but like I don't understand um, how you can basically be like, well, we need to change the way that people are eating to make them healthier. Like the only way to get America healthier is to change the food that they're eating. But we're not going to change the food that you're eating or make you eat differently. And it's like, well, then what are
Right.
we fucking talking about? Because, like, that's the whole idea. Like, if you're going to regulate the food, we're talking about regulation here. And I thought
And it's really,
Republicans
and it
were
goes
against
back
that.
to it goes back to the price, brother. It goes back to the price, because it's like you can buy highly processed, preservative laden food for cheaper than you can the healthy food. So
Mm-hmm.
people can't afford to buy the healthy food. They got to buy the junk. You know what I mean? Because it's cheaper. So like normally, if you had like um, a let's call it, as a, I used to be a chef, so I had to, prepare, I had to know how much food was in the kitchen, so we didn't run out, and you had to like plan your ingredients, and have your pantry stocked, with what you need, like your inventory, right?
Hmm.
So like it's the same for when you go shopping. You got to get the ingredients to make multiple meals. It's like, I went and I got stuff for stir fry. Well, it's like, cool, that's a meal or two, maybe three. But then what else? Where's breakfast? Where's your lunch? You got coffee, whatever. So it's like, it's like, but if you only can get like 2 meals worth of ingredients for the same as you can get like, you know, 4 meals of crap, chicken patties or whatever, some French fries and chips and whatever like that, junk food, uh, you know, they're gonna do that. That's what this late stage capitalism game has gotten us right now. This is where we're at.
But so I've had people tell me and talking about it. So apparently these companies make two separate products, one for other countries like Canada and the European countries that don't allow a lot of these filler products, these cheaper filler products that you're talking about. Is this,
Right.
and if this is the case, it's just interesting to
It's
me that
because this
companies
should this
would,
should be this should be
yeah,
taken care
do
of
that.
by the FDA, but of course it's not taken care of because the the big food companies with, Kraft, you got your Kraft, then you got all your, your wholesalers essentially, that are like your distributors. You
But
know what I mean?
hasn't it been, I mean, as long as I've kind of been paying a lot of attention to politics, hasn't it been the right that says we can't regulate these companies and what they put in their food? It's up to the individuals themselves on how they choose to
Gotta let
eat.
the marketplace sort it out,
Yeah,
right?
man, this is like let the invisible hand work its fucking magic and we don't have to worry about this shit. I thought that
Well,
was the conservative thing was to say let the market fucking decide. People don't, like, people can look at the ingredients list and decide if they want to eat it or not. I thought that was the case when there's been regulation proposed to get rid of some of these things in the past. I understand the
right. And
FDA's role in it, but
if you ask anybody, regardless of their political affiliation, I guarantee you, if you said, would you like food that's less processed and more healthy for cheaper, or would you like the bullcrap processed stuff? And I'm not going to throw any names out there because, like, whatever you're eating, I don't want to shame, you know what I'm saying? But like, you know what I'm talking about. Like lots of corn syrup, you know, high sugar, high salt, lots of fat. It tastes good, but it's crap. You know what I mean?
yeah, but it's like,
People
who,
would choose the healthier option. Like they would choose the healthier option if it was cheaper. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Like I'm not saying people are gonna like turn vegetarian or vegan. That's not what I'm
well,
saying. I'm
no,
saying like they would
yeah,
choose a healthier option if it wasn't like 2, 3 times the price of the crap, the cheaper option, and it's
right.
cheaper because it's like you said, it's filled with fillers. It's like remember the pink slime burger. It's like yeah, it was like they were doing like cocaine. They're cutting the meat
But like,
fucking
I guess,
fillers, bro.
yeah. But it's like, what I'm thinking is like, what consumer asked for? I don't know. Let's look one up.
Greenland.
I like what consumers asked for there to be whatever the fuck fillers in food.
Glycol or like yeah, yeah.
whatever the fuck it's called, like who was like, you know what, Kellogg, we really want you to put the fucking filler preservative materials in there that let it go. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Nobody
so
fucking asked
like you
for it.
know, like
It was forced
some
on.
of the stuff is like it's like um yeah, I think that we have like an issue more so. I would say there's more issues with the fillers and the packaging of food more so than like the preservatives because like you got to remember like the it is kind of a marvel, the preservatives, and like I don't want to knock on them because like there is like quite a bit of science there, like salt, like uh, like we had like it is pretty amazing like what we could do with like food and like how it's stored and yada yada. But
Yeah.
the plastic, like I saw this homeboy, he was a scientist, and he was saying that people get like a credit card's worth of plastic a month ingested into their body through like microplastics and fish, shellfish especially, and through just the food chain. Like it's in the
Hmm.
food chain now.
Yeah.
Where it's in like bugs, and the bugs are eaten by the
Sure.
whatever. It's yada yada, circle of life. But now we've got I saw today that like black utensils for your kitchen. You know how they when they get hot, those little chunks fall off,
Hmm.
those little microplastics. Well, they find that those black utensils are made from um, old electronics. So there could be like some gnarly metals compounds. Well, there apparently
Nice.
definitely is. So like I'm throwing mine away. We're gonna get new silicone ones, but like yes, the main point that we're kind of making here, or and I'm rambling about, is that there's a reason that we have these things that Trump's shutting down is because like these uh departments like the FDA and other like other institutions that we have are there to protect us, from companies, especially running roughshod over like what they can and can't do because like the market doesn't solve shit. The market basically says whatever I can get away with and make the most money for myself is what exactly what I'm going to do,
No.
you know. And they don't care about who it hurts, man. Like that's why we had that Luigi situation, man. Like healthcare don't care about the people. They care about like getting that money, you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
denying as many claims as possible.
Well, yeah, that's a whole different subject for another
And we're
day.
getting robbed right now by Trump.
We are definitely getting fleeced, and
We're
in
getting robbed.
while we're getting robbed and fleeced by him, he's also just blowing shit up, tearing it down, in the
And like
process.
I
But
I watched the hearing earlier with RFK, and it was a clown show. I mean, it was just a clown show.
yeah, well, let's get into it. But let's first. I think it's important to remember things that happened in the past and what people's words are when they say things. Um, because I remember a lot of people being very concerned about flip-flopping on positions and people.
John Kerry stuff.
Um, and people's words are important, so I think we should definitely remember what Donald Trump thought about his radical leftist
Liberal,
nominee
socialist,
for
communist,
for
globalist.
HHS. So let's give it a little look see what he has to say about his nominee for HHS.
RFK Jr. is a Democrat plant, a radical left liberal who's been put in place in order to help crooked Joe Biden, the worst president in the history of the United States, get reelected. A lot of people think that Jr. is a conservative. He's not. He's more liberal than anybody running on the Democrat side.
Wow. Big words.
Whoa.
More liberal than the communist, radical leftist Joe Biden.
And Kamala. And Kamala.
Yeah, and Kamala.
And
So
now
he's not
making him
conservative.
head of.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, you MAGA folk
Yeah,
better watch out.
the best.
You MAGA folk better watch out when you get out there, man. He's going to shed vaccine all over you, dude.
Well, which one is the liberal? Is he talking about the brainworm, or is he talking about RFK Jr.? Like,
Yeah,
he
I
might
don't
be
know.
talking. He might be talking brainworm here. You know what I mean? Maybe the brainworm is.
Nah, he's talking about RFK.
Okay.
A vote for Jr. would essentially be a wasted protest vote that could swing either way, but would only swing against the Democrats if Republicans knew the true story about him. Jr. is totally anti-gun, an extreme environmentalist who makes the...
Whoa, dude. He's nominating
A
a person that is anti-gun to HHS? Are you fucking kidding
I love
me?
him.
green news scammers look very conservative by comparison.
Whoa, he just
He's
so
a big green
he
New
makes
Deal guy.
he makes the green news scammers look like conservatives. This guy is fucking radical,
big-time
dude.
taxer. He wants to tax you.
Sounds like
An
he's even
open
further
border
left than
advocate.
us.
He wants those borders to be wide open for more people to come in from prisons and mental institutions.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Wow. It's
MAGA.
almost like everybody that's not 100% MAGA is like 100% ascribed to all these things that he does his little screed on. You know, it's like he's a socialist, but also a communist. And he's for open borders and just letting people in. And he's a radical leftist. And he's like further left than Biden. But then it's like, you just hired him. You're hiring them. What is going on?
I thought these people. I mean, I thought he was gonna. Dude, I mean, this is quite the indictment of the guy he just appointed.
Is he losing his mind? I mean, is this like early onset dementia happening? Because like, doesn't he remember saying this about RFK Jr.?
Well, it's got to. So there's only a couple options here. He's either fucking lying, or you don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Or he's just scamming, which is what he does. I mean,
Or don't forget the third option.
what? What's that?
Both. It's both.
Yeah, I mean, come on. That's like,
it's both.
listen to this shit, dude.
It's all
Like,
a
how
scam.
are you? There's no principles here. This guy is a fucking clown who it's pay to play with himself. I mean, pay to play with
That was
him.
a Freudian slip right there.
And he's anti-military and he's anti-vet. He's an extreme liberal. He's radical left, and radicalized also are his family.
Ooh.
They'll never allow him to be a Republican. They've said that we will not let him be a Republican.
So what's going on here? I mean, I don't get it. His family will not let him be a Republican, but he's
In a Republican
in administration.
His family didn't stop him.
Is he
His
lying?
radical liberal family.
Is this guy lying? Or
And not only that, it's like, bro, he's going after, he's talking smack about your family, like that aren't running for office. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
It's
it's
not
almost
like
like he doesn't care
It's
about
not like
what.
Robert Kennedy went out there and was like, your son Eric looks like Fire Marshal Bill from that show in Living Color from the 80s where he's got no upper lip and he's like, you know, or like Don
But let's
Jr.
not.
dipping his finger in his pocket. And
But let's not forget though, RFK himself said some fucking, some pretty critical shit of Trump before it
Oh
all
my
went down.
God,
And
yeah.
let's not forget
I think
that
I think it's a fetish by Trump because his vice president JP Mandel said he was Hitler.
right.
You know, so at this point, it's
Yeah.
like, bro, like either you like have some sort of it's like masochistic like tendency where you like need to hurt yourself politically, possibly.
All right. Well, let's keep going. Let's see how much more radical RFK is.
And his chief funder is the VP candidate that nobody ever heard of except her ex-husband, who's been stripped of a big chunk of his cash. And he knows exactly what she's all about. She's even more liberal than RFK Jr. She
Whoa, man! The wife of his running mate, or the husband of the running mate, is even more like I can't even keep up.
Yeah.
Who's the most left here? Like
Who's
everybody that you mentioned, the next person is the most left. Like shut the fuck up, you fucking old
and then there's
clown.
Nancy Pelosi, the most
Oh,
She puts herself down as a businesswoman or maybe a doctor, and actually she probably is because she did a hell of a big number on the husband. That's her business. I guess you could say
I
that
guess it's everybody.
she's right, however, because what she's done is given a lot of money to the Democrat causes and the ultra-liberal causes. She's going to be a big hindrance because when people saw that she was selected, they realized that
You ever
Junior was
notice how his
indeed
lips look like a sphincter, or like a piece of calamari
radical
or
left.
something? Like just looks like a butthole ring. You know what I mean? Like whose fucking lips do that, man? Like I don't know. He's like every time I see it, it looks like he's like sticking his fucking lips in someone's butt. You know.
he's used to kissing ass, man.
More liberal than Junior by far, not a serious person, and only a pot of cash to help her get her no chance candidate on the ballot is what got her there in the first place. I lived with RFK Jr. in New York and watched him convince Governor Cuomo to make environmental moves that were outright nasty and really bad for the state. We have the highest energy costs anywhere in the country, and that's because of RFK Jr. He was a disaster. Upstate New York
Damn.
was not allowed to drink.
So this guy like destroyed New York. He's a fucking disaster, but he's somehow you nominate him for human and health services. Come on, fuck man. Whatever. Get the fuck out of here. So let's I want to kind of focus in on an aspect, well, yeah. I want to focus in on a little aspect of this. Like, dude, RFK is 71 years old. And it's supposedly he's ripped. Like, he's all jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
Which, as far as I know, like, you pretty much have to be on steroids to become ripped at 71 years old. Or you have to eat, like, fucking, I don't know, like 300 fucking grams of protein a day. Which would be crazy.
And you'd have to be working out like 6-7 hours for sure.
Yeah, it's like, so I'm trying to figure out how this is kind of like fits into his like all natural, need to be natural and oh, I'm sorry, I got the wrong one here. This guy here. Yeah, like how this fits into like all natural situation, and like everybody needs to be healthy. Like this is not natural shit here. I don't think, to be like this.
I'm on an anti-aging protocol from my doctor that includes testosterone replacement, but I don't take any steroids.
What's up, guys? Jeff.
Let's just kind of watch just a few seconds of this here and just see what he says. Jeff Cavalier. I can watch this stuff on like workouts stuff. I think he's kind of interesting. He's got some good stuff, but more so to just kind of focus on the RFK aspect of this.
Cavalier, Athlenex.com. So today I'm going to critique Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s training, nutrition, recovery, conditioning, TRT. We're going to talk all about it because, let's face it, guys, he's 70 years old. And regardless of your political beliefs, there might be something here to be found out that could benefit us. So with that said, let's start breaking it down.
I do 4 different routines at the gym. I do backs one day, chest one day, legs, and then a miscellaneous.
So obviously when you look like RFK Jr., a lot of people are going to want to know, how does he train? And there's his split right there. Now, is it the best split? I've got some feedback on that. Number one, if I were going to do that split, I'd probably break it up the following way.
Well, we don't need to look at splits here. I don't really care about that, but let's focus. Ah, man. Let's just focus. I really want to just focus on this first statement from this guy who claims to be just like this science guru that knows all the fucking science on all this shit. Can we focus in on this statement?
I'm on an anti-aging protocol.
This guy does. Yo, bro, this guy doesn't age anymore, man. He anti-ages, and his protocol is thick, dude.
Beyond age.
Testosterone.
I am the man outside of time.
From my doctor. That includes testosterone replacement. But I don't take any.
So what else is in there? I mean,
Bro.
there's got to be something. Like, is that's the only part of your anti-aging protocol? Is notice there was a cutscene there too. I don't know.
Right.
Oh man, this guy's a quack job, dude. I don't need nowhere near this position that he's being nominated for. That's for sure.
No, not really.
Anyway, let's get to the more sort of relevant. That was just kind of like, keep these things in mind. He's a radical leftist crazy who's on TRT at 71 years old. He probably hangs out with Tucker at this point, and they do testicle tanning with the infrared light. Yeah. So on this particular point, let's get into it. This is from today's hearing. I thought this was a particularly good exchange. Let's check it out and we'll react to it.
Actually said, because I didn't want to have a debate about whether you actually said them. So I'm asking you, yes or no, Mr. Kennedy. Did you say that COVID-19 was a genetically engineered bioweapon that targets black and white people, but spared Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese people?
I didn't say it was deliberately targeted. I just quoted an NIH-funded and NIH published study.
Did you say that it targets
Now,
black
wait a
and white
minute,
people,
though.
but
Like,
spared
there's
Ashkenazi
I-
Jews?
Am I wrong? I'm sorry to pause it, but am I wrong?
Is he
that
roiding out?
doesn't he despise the NIH? Like, he doesn't trust the NIH,
Yes.
right?
He said that they could take a break for 8 years.
What is he doing citing the NIH for this? If he doesn't trust them,
right.
I just it's baffling.
Study your
He glitched right there,
is
obviously.
unsafe. Not that you can't possibly have an adverse reaction, but that parents
sorry,
and
I went back a little
children
bit.
in my old school district and school districts all over this country would be better off not getting vaccinated than getting vaccinated. Unlike his own children who were vaccinated, unlike the people
Yeah.
he invited
Watch
to
out,
his house
Mara.
in Los
He's gonna
Angeles
shed
for
his
their party who
vaccines on you.
were vaccinated. For everybody else,
Right.
it's about peddling these half-truths. And he says it with such conviction that you want to believe him.
He's a radical leftist.
And Mr.
shedding
Kennedy, I
vaccines.
just have there are many, many things in the record, but I hope that you could answer these questions, yes or no. I've tried to ask these in a manner that's faithful to what you actually said, because I didn't want to have a debate about whether you actually said them. So I'm asking you, yes or no, Mr. Kennedy.
Take a poop.
Did you say that COVID-19 was a genetically engineered bioweapon that targets black and white people, but spared Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese people?
I didn't say it was deliberately targeted. I just quoted an NIH-funded and NIH published study.
Did you say that it targets black and white people but spared Ashkenazi
I
Jews?
quoted a study, Your Honor. I quoted an NIH study that showed that
I'll take that as a
certain
yes.
races
I have
are
to move on,
disproportionately.
I have to move on.
Yes, Your
Did you
Honor.
say that Lyme disease is highly likely a materially engineered bioweapon? I made sure I put in the highly likely. Did you say that Lyme disease is a highly likely militarily engineered bioweapon?
I probably did say that.
Did
but
you
I'm
say
not-
that?
And that's what the
Okay,
developer of
I
Lyme
want all of our
disease-
colleagues to hear it, Mr.
Is he
Kennedy.
like Kyle Rittenhouse?
I
I
wanted to
think it's
hear it. You
steroids,
said
man.
yes. Did you say that exposure to pesticides causes children to become transgender?
No, I never said that.
Okay, I have the record that I'll give to the chairman,
Man,
and he can make
never
his
said
judgment
that.
about what.
I really wish. Well, I know that they're strapped for time, but man, I wish they could. We should need to pull up that clip.
What you said. Did you write in your book, and it's undeniable that African AIDS is an entirely different disease from Western AIDS? Yes or no, Mr. Kennedy?
I'm not sure if I made that.
Okay, I'll give it to the
Oh man,
Chairman, Mr. Kennedy, and my final question, did you say on a podcast,
What the fuck?
and I quote, "I wouldn't leave abortion, to the states. My belief is we should leave it to the woman. We shouldn't have the government involved, even if it's full term." Did you say that, Mr. Kennedy?
Senator, I believe that every abortion is a tragedy.
Did you say it, Mr. Kennedy?
I
This
believe-
matters. It doesn't matter what you come here and say that isn't true, that's not reflective of what you really believe, that you haven't said over decade after decade after decade, because unlike other jobs we're confirming around this place, this is a job where it is life and death for the kids that I used to work for in the Denver public schools and for families
he looks
all
like
over
a-
this country that are suffering
Not
from
trying to
living
be
in the
petty, but
richest
man, he
country of the
looks rough.
world that can't deliver
He looks
basic
real-
health
he
care
looks
and
real bad,
basic
bro.
mental health care to them. It's too important for the games that you're playing, Mr. Kennedy. And I hope my colleagues will say to the president, I have no influence over him. I hope my colleagues will say to the president, out of 330 million Americans, we can do better than this.
Thank you. We
Yeah.
need to move on.
we can do
Senator
that, that's
Cassidy.
for
We
sure.
can. 100%.
Mr. Kennedy,
1,000%.
President Trump is
You're breathing all weird too.
Yeah, he's like Darth Vader.
This guy, bro.
Like, oh man.
4 years of this nonsense too is what's really
Crazy.
screwing my head up, brother. You know what I mean? I just don't. I don't get it. I don't see the appeal here. You know.
So, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, we could watch some more of it for sure.
Elizabeth Warren had a pretty good take on his ass. So did Bernie. Actually, Bernie was pretty good. Let me see.
Hold on.
There was a few moments that were not bad. I've never heard of this guy, this senator before. You know, because I mean, obviously he's not my senator, but summer senator from New Mexico, Ben Ray Lujan. He was pretty effective. I thought his line of questioning was a little more targeted than some of the others. You know. Bernie kind of did his Bernie thing. Elizabeth Warren kind of did her thing. I'm not I used to be a bigger fan of Elizabeth Warren, and I'm kind of ambivalent. She's done some good things, but
let's see what Bernie had to say.
In oversight hearings over the last 4 years. I haven't, but I'm glad that there's an acknowledgement that you're inheriting a problem that needs to be fixed. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Senator Sanders.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Kennedy, thanks for being with us. I very much like the slogan that you coined, Make America Healthy Again. And I strongly agree with that effort. Despite spending, as you indicated, 2 or 3 times as much capital on healthcare as other nations, we have 85 million people who are uninsured, underinsured. We have all kinds of chronic illnesses. Our life expectancy is lower than other countries. And for working class people in this country, they are living 6, 7 years shorter lives than the top 1%. We got a problem, okay? And I'm going to suggest some ideas that I think can remedy that. Last year, the insurance industry in this country made over $70 billion, while at the same time, 85 million Americans are uninsured or underinsured. Do you agree with me that the United States should join every other major country on earth and guarantee health care to all people as a human right? Yes? No?
Senator, I can't give you a yes or no answer to that question.
Healthcare a human right? Is healthcare a human right?
In the way
Yes.
that free speech is a human right,
Yeah.
I would say it's different because if with free speech doesn't cost anybody anything, but in healthcare, if you smoke cigarettes for 20 years and you get cancer, you are now taking from the pool. And so are you guaranteed the same right, or is there also a duty?
I'm sorry.
I like the death panels under
Whoa, now, but that's okay.
Who
That's crazy,
determines?
though. That's
Now,
crazy
who
shit right there,
determines
though.
who gets the health care under this?
So
They
if
get to
if you're a 19-year-old male and you drink 7 Monster drinks in a day, and then you do a bunch of Adderall or something, like, you know, like you drink, you eat a bunch of shit ass food, or you drink a bunch of these caffeine drinks, and you have some kind of heart issue because of all the caffeine and wild shit that's in these Monster drinks, and you have to go to the hospital and you're not insured. What's the deal there? Are we saying that those people don't deserve, like they're taken from the pool? You're singling out smokers for 20
literally
years.
every time you get sick, they would be like, "Oh, you're taken from the pool. How dare you?"
What about
It's just like how they treat entitlements, man. It's like shit you're entitled to, and they're like, "Oh, you should feel bad about yourself for taking the thing you is owed to you. How dare you?"
What's left here? All right. Every other country on earth says healthcare, whether you're poor or rich, young or old, is a human right. I'm not hearing you say that. All right. You've talked about the drug.
Oh, that's actually something that I wanted to bring up, that I kept hearing from this guy and some of the other Republican folk. They kept bringing up this statistic that, you know, that we have worse health outcomes and all this stuff from around the world, but none of them mentioned that a lot of those countries that they're pulling those metrics from have universal healthcare systems.
Right.
So it's kind of like skewed to like pull about health outcomes and that kind of stuff from some of these other countries when everybody's got access and they're not having to pay outrageous amounts for these services.
Right. Like how he was. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, it was like how Trump. It was like how Trump was like making it seem like Greenland or like Canada would be enticed over by our amazing healthcare we have here, and it's like, who the fuck are you? What are you talking about, Mr. President? It's like, why would they want to go to a system where it's actively worse, and they would have to pay an arm and a leg for it, where it's free for them now? It's like, no way, dude, no way. I mean, they got to be doing some major druggage up in there to believe something like that, dude. But this is also the guy that thinks you need ID for a loaf of bread when you buy groceries, the word he invented.
So when they say that though about health outcomes and like all these other countries out there, countries with universal health care, Indonesia, Pakistan, Brazil, Turkey, Mexico, Russia, Germany, Italy, Colombia, South Korea, Argentina, Peru, Chile, Sri Lanka,
I'm not seeing that
Burk,
on the screen, by the way, brother.
uh,
Just so
yes, sorry, I was just reading them off, but I can pull it up here.
I
Hold on a
gotcha.
second.
People want to see, Dan.
Oh, where's that?
I wonder. Nobody's talking about old slow Rogan right now.
I don't know
Like,
where that is, but I'll just name off a few more. But I just,
that's
I
fine.
guess what I'm just getting at is, here, like Switzerland, Denmark, Costa Rica. Matter of fact, I know a couple of right wingers, MAGA folks that had moved to Costa Rica, and that was one thing that they really fucking enjoyed about Costa Rica was they had healthcare that they could just go and get. It was great. They loved it.
The
And
teeth
they're
done or something. Okay.
Kuwait, Croatia, Georgia. I mean, come on, man. Like we're the only fucking country
Yeah.
in the world that doesn't have like a universal healthcare system. So don't pull fucking statistics unless we're actually measuring apples to apples. You stupid fucks.
Right.
Like,
And we're not.
can we fucking get universal healthcare already? Like, this shit
It's
needs to
beyond
be
time.
done. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of these rich fucking assholes telling us what we can and can't have as far as healthcare is concerned. All these
I
other
mean, that
countries can
is.
seem to do it.
This is part of the fascism playbook, though. It's like, make they basically invade every aspect of your life. You know what I mean? Like the state gets into everything. Like I was watching a documentary just because you should like know your enemy, and like I'm anti-fascist. You know what I mean? Like I actively against fascism, 100%, no doubt in my mind. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but for instance, the German people on Sunday normally would have a roast and a stew, a roast and a stew, right? And they'd have a family meal, and that's what they did on Sunday, just like a little tradition. Well, the fascists came in and they're like, guess what? You should, not buy that roast on Sunday, and instead donate the money that you normally would have used for the roast, donate that to the party, right, to the Nazi party, and then have what they're calling it a one pot stew, where it was a vegetarian stew with no meat, right? So that was a way for them basically to be like, oh, you're being really patriotic by donating, and this is supposed to help whatever, when really it wasn't helping fucking nobody. It was just going towards like the eventual war machine. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But like that's what I'm saying. Like they invaded and they co-opted traditions that were already there, but made it like part of the propaganda. Like you were being a part of the party, and it was like you're having. I don't remember all the German names for everything, but like essentially, like that's exactly what MAGA is trying to do with this shit. Robert Kennedy is trying to invade every aspect of our health, from our food to what goes on in the doctor's office. The pills, like all that stuff, man. Like all those regulations, like he's talking about going in there and hack and slashing, and he doesn't have a great grasp on science, and Trump definitely doesn't fucking have a great grasp. So it's like essentially right now, the question really needs to be is how much power is Congress willing to give to Trump? Because right now I'm seeing no pushback on anything. So are the Republican congressmen and senators saying basically they're not needed anymore? And are we in a dictatorship
Yeah,
at
I mean,
that
it
point?
seemed. Let's see. Have any Republicans gone? I guess a couple of them voted against Pete Hegseth, right?
Um, I, I don't know because honestly, I think it was so close that
J.P. Mandel had to cast
cast the tiebreaker, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
because I think a
So
couple
I
of
don't.
them,
I mean, we'll get
but
on them,
still, but still,
but
it's
still,
basically like full capitulation because like really what senators should be is, well, yeah, I'm a part of the party, but like I am a part of the Senate, which has power within the institution of
right.
government, and I have the ability to say, you know what, even though you may be in my party, I just still don't think that this person in particular, based on the merits, is qualified for the job.
That was supposed to be the check
Republicans did that.
to the balance, the checks and the balances. That's the check on the power. Another
Yeah.
way to say is like if you know what a check is, like in the old term English, a block. They're blocking them from getting this power, like stopping them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's why we have three branches of government because they're supposed to each block the other one from getting too powerful. And right now, why we're screaming about fascism, which is, yes, a certain thing, and we also have an oligarchy going, which can both coexist. But right now, what's happening is Trump is taking over the government in a different way than just assuming power as the president. He is literally taking over the government. He's trying to buy out federal, civilian employees, 2 million of them, trying to buy them out, have them retire, and then give them like some sort of payout,
Hmm.
which is bizarre because the only reason you would want to do that is to bring in 2 million of your own loyalists who will do exactly what you tell them to do. Like this is like a soft coup. Yeah, he's in charge. Yes, he's the president, but like we're losing, we're losing the democracy as we speak. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like rights
Well,
are being
and
eroded away. He's doing illegal shit already.
exactly. I mean, the just the fact that he's trying to do away with a constitutional amendment through an executive order. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
that's pretty
It's
plain.
unconstitutional. You can't fucking do that.
And
I
so,
haven't seen any states ratify that or the Congress or anybody fucking do
yeah,
anything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
if
but
with the
that's
stroke of a
that's
pen,
exactly what I'm saying. They're
yes,
like, oh great, a judge blocked him here or whatever. Like, what about when he's like, yeah, the fucking Pam Blondie when she becomes the attorney general just fires all these motherfuckers. They're already trying to do that. Like this whole fake, the second Jan 6 investigation, where they're going to investigate all the prosecutors and the the judges and shit that like found the violent terrorist Jan 6 guys like guilty. They want to sanitize Trump's position that he didn't stage a coup. And what are you talking about? It was obviously just a big. It was all okay because he fucking pardoned them. That's what they're wanting to make it seem like. Like one's already got smoked in Indiana. Homeboy got out, was a resistant arrest. I don't know why he didn't just comply. Isn't that what they say?
Yeah,
All the
just
racists,
comply.
why didn't he? Why didn't he just comply?
Yeah, if you just comply, man, you don't get in trouble.
He wasn't rehabilitated apparently in prison either. So
Well, it just seemed like the guy was prone to violence and, not really caring about authority or the law. So,
yeah, he was.
it's
I
almost
think
as
that
if
they
Trump
said he had.
emptied the prisons.
Yeah. And now Trump's. Did you hear he wants to send American citizens that are like or going to prison or in prison, send them to El Salvador. So he wants to deport American, civilians,
Oh yeah.
even if they're like, I guess it's up to him, whoever he decides is, going to El Salvador, but then they're housed in El Salvador or in prison there. It's like, what the fuck, man? Like, what in the world kind of nonsense is this going on? You know what I mean? Like, why are we talking about this? It's like, who who voted for this? Like, like, who voted for this? I'm talking to you, MAGA. Like, which one of you idiots voted for this? Because, like, I don't remember any of this shit. Do you? During
Mm-mm.
the campaign, do you
No.
remember anything about Greenland or Panama Canal or El Salvador prisons or
Or getting rid of like people's whatever
Medicaid and shit?
security details or
Yeah. Yep.
or
Firing inspector generals and
I mean just
watchdogs.
all of it, and then I asked myself, has any of that actually lowered the prices for me? Is it making
Eggs are through the
housing
roof.
more affordable? I forget what the Fed said they weren't going to do. No
They're
rate,
taking away the mortgage tax incentive or whatever the hell it was.
taking it
It was,
away.
yeah, taking it away. So that's like help. That's not, or that's hurting homeowners. And like another disincentive from owning a home. Like, it's like, I thought they were going to make it easier to own a home. So like prices are up. It's harder to get a home now. Homeowners that already have a mortgage are now not going to get this incentive. But then he's like already preaching about how he's going to pass this nice tax tax cut for the rich, but somehow it's gonna save us money. Now, do you remember last time this happened? They did a tax cut for the rich, and
Hmm.
Paul Ryan got out on the floor and was like, "Now listen up. You might get like a nickel, but after 10 years, blah blah blah." Not mentioning that it expired for all the middle and lower class after like a year or two, and then only the rich people were getting the tax breaks.
Right.
And then it added billions and billions and billions, shitloads of that went in straight into like Elon Musk's pocket, bro. You know what I mean? We're cooked, bro. We're cooked. We're gonna be here. We're gonna be here for you guys. You know what I mean? We're gonna keep pointing this shit out because like there's really nothing else to do at this point. You know what I mean? Like we have to
Well,
just
I
stay on
mean,
top of these guys. Hammer them.
I mean, I feel like at some point, so we're gonna need to. I mean, yeah, we can sit around and talk about it, man. But like at some point, we're gonna need to. I don't know, like boycotts, whatever, sit-ins,
We need
um,
people running for office. That's what we need. We need
running.
regular folks running for office. A
Um,
strong, like working class. Get back to our roots, bro.
yeah, well, and we
And,
just, we need
yeah, and
people.
boycotts. Yes.
We need people in the Democratic Party that's willing to get down and dirty with this, you know. But we also have to focus our anger and the blame on the people that we need to focus
Correct
that need
people.
yeah,
Yes.
which is the billionaires and the
It's like
millionaires.
we can fight amongst ourselves when we're in power about how we use that power, but let's win because like look at the situation we're in now. We don't have any power. You know what I mean? Like so either we got screwed out of like I don't know if you saw that the Kyle Kalinske video where he was talking about the 4 to 4 million votes that were discarded
Mm-hmm.
or some nonsense. You know, it's like that would have
Thrown
been
out.
enough for yeah, that would have been enough to make Kamala the president. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know, one way or the other. It's like we need to win. Period. You know, like this like it's terrible as like what's going on in Israel, Israel and Gaza on both sides. I'm not saying either is good side. I'm saying the terrible shit that's going on between the both of them, more so one side than the other. Israel, talking to you, but that somehow like stopped some people from voting in our election. It's like uh and not to minimize like those people suffering, but it's like a genocide in another country is enough to keep you from voting and potentially stopping a genocide in your own country. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
not like that's a little alarmist. We're not in, there's not a genocide taking place yet. We're only a fucking week or so in, but you know what I'm saying? Like the sentiment behind it. It's like you allow this fucking evil to take place, man. This ridiculous regime that we're in now, where we have no power, no leverage, no voice to affect any kind of change, and we're literally at the mercy of like people who fucking despise us. You know what I mean? That is not smart.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Yeah. Yeah, pretty
Oh
much,
man.
man.
Oh
Fucking
dude.
shitty Christmas, man.
Well, let's leave off with, the grace and just the warm nature,
Welcoming nature of Mecca.
the warm
Uh,
nature of, those rich folk out there that just care so much about you, their workers and shit, and how it's just
Merry Christmas to YouTube and all you poor fuckers out there. And we're going to show that's pan down. Move a little, move. That's what Christmas is supposed to look like, you poor fucks.
yeah.
And if it doesn't look like there's about 300 presents here.
Yep.
If something ain't right, if your Christmas doesn't look like this.
You poor fuck. Just remember that, folks. When you're struggling, trying to, fucking get
that's
by
what they
in the
think of you.
world, trying to get by in the world.
That's the most realist shit ever, right there, man. That guy's like 100%. He's 100% telling the truth right there.
Man.
His truth. Like, I don't agree with him. I'm saying, like, he's being real. He's being really real right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, he don't care.
You don't have 300 presents under the tree for Christmas. You're a poor fuck.
You're a poor fuck.
And something's wrong with you. So, but rich people care all about you, man. They really want you to, succeed and shit. But yeah. That's kind of where we're at. I really feel like we're moving into eat the rich territory. And I kind of, like some people are saying, people out there, I hear they're talking. They're saying maybe the Musks of the world should go through a little hardship for a while for the long-term prosperity for people.
Yeah, isn't that what he said?
Yeah,
Short, it'd be
I think
like
he
a
should try some of that.
temporary hardship.
I think he should try some of that.
Let's make it long term though. I
the
want a
people,
long term hardship.
the people that are saying that, I don't know, I kind of agree. So
Yeah.
anyway, you folks, if you like what you see here, like and subscribe. We're gonna be doing it. We're gonna try to do it as much as we can. But we're here. We're here for you.
That's what they said.
Hit that bell, hit the like, hit the subscribe, get engaged, and get enraged. Let's do this. Peace.
Go.